to Ash. Ash just floats down from the heavens. That would be fun.
That's like
Oh, they're not like that? Okay. Oh. I guess I need to watch more of the show then. I'm into it. Yeah. I'm sorry, what? Well, Ash was, in the beginning, he was written as a drunk, psychic, computer guy from MIT. And we actually shot the whole first episode with Ash as sort of like a bumbling, sort of drunk guy. He's passed out on the table, and I fall off the pool table, and then they call, you know, a month or two later, and it just didn't work, so we had to go back and sort of water Ash down a little bit and make him a little bit more tamer. But I would, bugs, man. What? I would say one of the funniest scenes is when Ash was in the buff, and he opens the door and Dean's standing there and Sam, and we had a tough time keeping a straight face. We really did. It seemed like a sparked question. Yeah. Do I have a thing for being naked? Not necessarily. I think maybe I'm just as an actor, I don't think you should have boundaries. You know what I mean? And sometimes I like to push the envelope just because it entertains me. So, yeah. I started when I was in high school. I picked up a local paper, and there was a guy in my hometown named Jim Caviezel who played. Yeah, he went to the same high school, and at the time I was in high school, he had just landed a small part in Wyatt Earp, and they did this big spread, and I was just like, man, and I started doing plays at the time, and I was just like, wow, I mean, he can do that. I'm gonna give it a shot. So I picked up the paper and found an ad for a talent agency in Seattle, which was like an hour away from where I lived. And I went and auditioned for them, and they took me on. And then they sent me on an audition for a movie called Born to Be Wild. And I had it was this Warner Brothers movie, and it was for 2 lines. And I played a burger boss. And I got it, and I ended up getting it, and that kind of blew me away. And then from there, it's very steady, and I ended up getting, like 2 or 3 years later, I ended up getting a movie as a lead, independent movie in Seattle, and then an agent from LA came up and had a client in that movie, and she saw me, and then she was like, and I was planning to go to LA anyway, but she was like, when you come to LA, you're gonna be okay. And then I moved to LA and consistently was working. Always definitely appreciated it, but when you're young like that, you sort of don't know like what you have, and as I've gotten older, it's more of a scary thing, and because it's like there's no foundation, you feel, and you always feel like you know, your last job is going to be your last job, and you know, it's a very hard business to break into and to work in, and I feel so blessed to be given the opportunities and to be able to work in this business, because it really is fleeting, and you know, you just never know. Yes. Yeah. Well, at that time, yeah, I was living in LA, and I had a house, and I had to move out of it, and I was all of a sudden kicked out of my butt, and I was couch hopping with friends, and I eventually had to move back home, and you know, I stayed with my parents for a while, and you know, this is after, you know, I'm very recognizable. And it was very, very hard to sort of process all that, and I definitely felt like it was never going to happen again, and what am I doing? And I kind of had to go home and recollect myself and work on myself out of a lot of financial problems, and then, you know, a lot of people assume that actors are rich. Some are, but not always, and you know, I live in the bankruptcy capital of the world, and it does happen. And it was something that, you know, it's important to you because you grow from those things, and you really appreciate, you know, what comes after that, you know, once you get through all the heavy stuff. And I think it's important sometimes to go through those things to learn, you know. So, yeah, it can be a scary thing, because I don't know what else I would do. I really don't. So to be able to keep working is awesome.